I think they do. So what they're saying, basically, they're suing. They want to block the federal government from assuming control of the MPD. The president can make directions under the Home Rule Act, but can't directly assume authority. So assuming that the president says to the mayor or to the police chief, look, I want the MPD to start doing X, Y, and Z, and orders are followed, then all is well. However, if they don't follow that, then the president, may be allowed to assume direct control. Right now, I don't see. I do see that they have a leg to stand on in saying, look, you can't take direct control over our police force, even though you're assuming command.
Right, and I think that was a little bit of what the mayor had said when she was asked, so who's in charge? And she kept being asked this, and she said, I'm in charge, and therefore my police chief is in charge. The White House was dancing around that a little bit, and yesterday things kind of, were amped up a little bit when the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, started rescinding general orders from the police department and making changes, and in effect naming Terry Cole the police commissioner. But do you think that D.C. has a legal leg to stand on? So what does that mean then moving forward? Is there an injunction that's coming forward, or what can we expect here from a judge?
Well, I think ultimately we can expect this to be appealed if it goes against Trump and go to the Supreme Court. And I think they've signaled leniency toward, or deference to the president. But to answer the immediate question, I'm not sure where things are at. Again, the chain of command under the Home Rule Act, which is what Trump is using to invoke these powers, gives Trump the ability to make direction to the mayor and have the mayor follow orders. If that doesn't happen, if the mayor disagrees and says, listen, you're allowed to make this direction provided that there's an emergency, and here crime rates are going down. So therefore, I don't see an emergency. I'm not going to follow your orders. And that's basically where the tension is right now. Trump is saying, look, I want you to do X, Y, and Z. And if there's resistance, then it's not really spelled out. If there's resistance, then you can assume direct control. And so the law's unclear in that area.
Well, to your point,
that's kind of where the tension is at.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed as though the mayor had, to some degree, acquiesced. I mean, she wasn't combative. She had said, listen, we're going to go through these 30 days. He's invoked a Home Rule Act, to your point, under an emergency basis. That seems as though the definition seems to be up in the air. But regardless, she wasn't fighting that. But it seems as though now the tension is ratcheted up when you have the Attorney General saying, wait a second, you're no longer in charge. We're in charge. And now you do think, I mean, what else? What's the recourse, I guess, is what I'm trying to get to. What other recourse other than the office of the AG here in D.C. suing the DOJ? Is there any other recourse for the city to say, wait a second, we're still in charge?
No, they're doing it right. So there is no other recourse. This is the way that you do it. You file an injunction. An injunction means I want to stop somebody from doing something. And for them to say, listen, we haven't disobeyed the president's directives at all. We're still in charge. You can't come in and assume total control above and beyond the Home Rule Act. You could give us direction, and if we follow it, we're in charge. You could say, clean up the city, try to take control over crime rates, and if we're doing that, then you can't make further orders. So I think that they will prevail on that point. When the judge decides, there is a hearing today at 2 p.m. We don't have any results yet, as far as I know.
Okay. Because, my next question was more not to ask about the legality of things, but just your sense as an attorney, having been in this country, I'm sure practicing law for many, many years. You've got the DOJ now in this legal battle with the entire district bench in Maryland, something that also seems unprecedented. You've got a judge out of Virginia trying to also decipher that, is going to issue a ruling sometime in September. Are we in unprecedented times with this Department of Justice and how they seem to be assuming judicial power?
We certainly are. I mean, they're assuming there's overstepping here, in my opinion, going on. Like I said, the president has the right to give the mayor direction under the Home Rule Act. It doesn't give the president the right to assume full control and command under the Home Rule Act. And to that extent, I believe that this litigation will be successful. However, we have a direction here. I mean, really what you want to do as an attorney is you want to go in, you want to have clear, defined lines here, like what I just said. If the district goes against Trump and they say, Judge, we are following the orders, they can't go beyond that. The judge should rule in their favor.
Okay.
To the extent that they're arguing, the emergency basis and the declining crime rates, I don't see that as a good argument for Washington, D.C. The quick, easy counter to that is, well, yeah, you're happy that the crime rates are declining, and guess what? They're still worse than most other major cities in the entire country. So for you to say that, hey, we're happy with these declining crime rates, and yet they're still higher than everywhere else, that shows that there's an emergency going on, and that therefore justifies the invocation of this power under the Home Rule Act.
Right. Well, and it seems as D.C. knows that that's a weak argument, which is why they have been following up until this point the law in allowing the executive to take charge, except in this matter, which seems as though they're not aligned on this. But we'll see exactly what comes out of this hearing and if that injunction prevails. Joseph, always good to see you and have you break down all these legal matters here on the DMV Zone.
Thank you. Happy Friday.
Same to you. Meantime, it is Friday, and still we're following breaking news at this hour.